It's been a while. Hey, Jim.
Hey.
How are you? Welcome, everybody. It was what you were about to say how you were. I just said, how are you, and passed right by
I'm
it,
fine.
Jim. Oh. You sounded. Jim, what are we talking about today? All sorts of stuff has happened since we last spoke. Let's start with this. MSNBC praises Biden. Not shocking, but Jim will tell us how what the lunacy is about there. Biden's in trouble. We know that. But the Dems won't run Newsom. We have a few reasons why that's the case. At least somebody's opinion on why that's the case. A new coverage in auto insurance, Jim's going to tell us about. I have no idea about this. Layoffs at the Southern Poverty Law Center. What a shame. Guess what? Two guys, one coup was right again. We'll tell you what we were right about. And squad member Cori Bush. The next Jesus? Possibly.
Miracles, right? She's going to be
that's
Saint.
Right. Miracles.
Saint Cori Bush.
Saint Cori Bush. All that. And it's Pride Month.
Yep.
Still. Yep. The longest month of the year. All that on what, Jim?
Two sparkling guys. One
Ding.
fabulous coup.
Welcome to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim, where the truth matters and progressives' feelings don't. We bring you the facts from the perspective of two average, everyday guys who will never apologize for being America first, for adhering to our great Constitution, and for saluting the flag that our brothers and sisters have fought and died for. And now, here's Dale and Jim.
There's been some comments from listeners that they kind of like. They kind of hope we keep it going. And I said, no, we're only doing it for Pride.
Nope. July 1st, done. Enough of that. No more of that.
And then I've
nonsense.
also have been told people that were kind of mean.
About
then it's working. Working.
Are we hooding fee wings again?
Look, because we always
offended?
talked about the Pride Month and the LBGs. The LBGs
have no
live, love, do whatever you want to do.
Yep.
The T's that want to kill or not kill, but mutilate children. Mm-hmm. We have a problem with you. And then I don't even care about the plus IORM. You guys are weird. So
and numbers. I think they're using numbers now, aren't they? They ran out of letters, so I think there's a 2 in there somewhere.
Yeah, well,
we might have to look that up.
The House of Dragon.
Yeah.
All right. So it started last night.
Prequel to Game of Thrones.
Yeah, which is I like it.
Not really.
Game of Thrones is great.
I haven't gotten into it yet, and I love.
Yeah, it's just hard to get into the characters and everything. Okay. But the point of the matter is Darcy, the person who plays Rhaenyra Targaryen.
Yeah. They them isn't.
Well, there was a reporter that made a mistake.
Yep.
They called her a she.
Oh no,
she is.
She is.
But she goes by they and them.
Does she?
So this reporter had to do an apology to apologize for using the wrong pronouns. Now, look, when we call people on to interview folks, we do not ask them what pronouns they go by. And I will never ask somebody pronouns. If they get offended, don't come on the show.
Don't come on the show. Yeah.
Those
don't come on the show.
Plus AA or whatever after the T's. These are those.
Yeah,
people.
It's not even so. It's beyond the Yeah, you're right. I mean, it goes beyond the transgenders who often are the ones who are screaming about their pronouns and misgenderizing them and all that. And it goes to the bizarre. Like this is clearly a woman. Clearly, I mean, why go by they them? Well, yeah, but why? What is the point of they and them pronouns?
I have.
That's what I'm saying.
Like, I don't understand any of this stuff.
I don't either.
I don't
either.
Okay, you want to go by she?
An expert listening that can come on and tell us.
But you're going by she because you're a she. So
yes,
those are your preferred pronouns. Fine. You're a she.
You're a she. I mean, I don't get what. Yeah, I don't either.
That's why gays against groomers are gays against groomers. Yep. They just kind of.
That's why they are them.
Discard those people.
Yep, correct. correct. There are, though. I mean, there still is those queers for Palestine. You want to hear something, Jim?
I love
briefly,
hearing
short question. The typical question for those that are pro-Palestine. So this is the typical question for those that are pro-Palestine. And a typical response from those who are pro-Palestine. So typical question to a pro-Palestine whack job, and the typical response from a pro-Palestine whack job. This one just happens to be queers for Palestine. So here you go. Let's listen to this.
As from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Yeah. Can you tell me which river and which sea we're talking about here?
So,
this is you've caught me on the spot, and I'm really horrible when asking questions. But basically, the river and the sea that border both sides of Palestine, where Israel is right now.
The border both sides of Palestine, where Israel is right now. So the typical question: the river to the sea. What river? What sea? You know, I mean, you can put me on the spot. Yeah, you put me on. It's that river that's, between Palestine. We know where Israel's at. That thing.
There is no Palestine, though, so there's no river.
There's no Palestine. So you can't even get that part right.
Yeah.
Huh? Yeah.
Anyway,
so typical question, typical response, and there they are out there chanting and charging, and still, why is this still a thing? Why is it still going on? I think it's been proven over and over again that Hamas is a terrorist organization, and we know they're getting paid. We know these are paid actors a lot of times. We know that. We know who's paying for them, and over and over and over again, they make themselves look like just total buffoons. They have no clue
you can, like we talked about before, these journalists can always, or I guess you can't really call some people journalists, but you call, that go up to talk to somebody.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I've seen interviews where you've seen on MSNBC, CNN, MAGA, right? They go out and try and find the dumbest one in the whole group, the far radical one that's completely out there. Like the person we met at the Moms for Liberty Summit 2 years ago. That guy was out there.
That guy was pretty far right.
Right. And so,
I mean, not even,
he was, I felt
not even in the beliefs of Mom for Liberty.
I felt bad because I left you and I walked away from you guys. Anyway,
it wasn't a bad feeling. I know you did, but the truth of the matter is I literally could sit there and listen to whack jobs almost all day and just be baffled by their total.
It scared me what he said. But so you can find that, but it just seems like this whole thing for queers for Palestine. How stupid are you? They don't accept you. You put queer in there and you're done. If they don't kill you, they're ignoring you. I mean,
this is all truth. This is all truth, Jim. So, and continuing with Pride Month and those kind of good things.
I like this.
Yeah, Germany's got it right. Germany's got it right. No, not what you're thinking. We are pro-Israel. We're not Holocaust.
Yeah, not that one.
We're not thinking
not that one.
Not old German. Anyways, you got to preface all that, but German study, and Jim and I were both going to actually talk about this. Vast majority of people, this is what they say, will grow out of transgenderism within 5 years. It says a massive years-long study shows the overwhelming majority of young people who identify as transgender will grow out of the diagnosis within 5 years. Researchers who tracked all children and young adults diagnosed with gender dysphoria over a 9-year period. So this is a pretty extensive study, folks. Found a similar supermajority of trans people suffered from at least one other psychological condition. Gee. This is not even what the Two Guys One Coup crew was right about. That's another story, but we've been saying this forever. And we're not alone in saying it. It's not there's a lot of people out there that think there's something deeper than this. But the Central Institute for Statutory Health Insurance in Germany reviewed all the medical billing records from the nation's healthcare providers for insured people between the ages of 5 and 24 diagnosed with gender identity disorders from 2013 to 2022. 2013. Where was I when this was all happening back? Like, no clue. Isn't that weird?
It obviously was.
Like, I just didn't really. It was going on, and people told us that. That it's going on well before. Researchers then combed through the data to identify trends in the number of children and adolescents diagnosed with transgenderism, including the prevalence, demographics, and duration of those struggling with the gender identity. 2 out of 3 young people medically diagnosed with gender dysphoria will no longer identify as a member of the opposite sex within 5 years. Researchers found overall that 63.6% of trans children and adolescents desisted from their clinically confirmed gender diagnosis, and only 36.4% had a confirmed gender identity disorder diagnosis after 5 years. So the point then, Jim Bean, as we've said and many have said, that if you're 13, if you're 12, 13, younger, doesn't matter, and you think that you are the opposite sex, and by 18, if that's something you want to choose to do, then that's on you. It's not. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want my taxes to go up to pay for your Obamacare insurance to get it done. I don't want any of that crap. What I'm saying is that you can make that decision, right? But give it time. Yep. Go to true psychologists who can diagnose what the true, real problem is before you start cutting off their genitals and giving them puberty blockers. But why do they do it, Jim? Why do they do that?
Money. That's why in the United States it will never get to that point. Because of the money. Yeah,
it never will. Too much.
And if people just realize that this is very harmful to children, more mentally, more than physically, more mentally alarming to children, because in 5 years, what happens if after 2 years you decide that, well, I'm going to get a double mastectomy?
Yep, exactly. And
in
then
5 years, it's like, shit, where are you at now?
Oh, shit. So, it says here that 3/4 of young people who identify as transgender had at least one other psychiatric condition. So 75%.
Now, look, they're going to come back and say, but what are you going to do? Are you going to ignore the 25%? That's what they're going to come back and say. No, we're going to help is all we're saying. Mm-hmm. All right. Don't throw them in a cell, lock them up, electric.
No. That. Shock therapy.
Okay?
No.
They need help.
Yep.
And
they need help. And give it the time. Give it the 5-year gap. Give it that time for them to go through that necessary. If you're trans, if you think you're the opposite sex at 12, by the time you're 17, and if you still think that, then that's something you truly maybe want to do or are. I don't know. I don't get the whole psychological end of it, but there's clearly proof that there are other psychological disorders, depression, all sorts of stuff is added in here, anxiety disorders, all of that.
But I don't want to, what I get tired of seeing is the suicide rates, right? How many times have we heard about that? Oh, you just don't care about them because the suicide rates are up. But when you see the proper numbers, the suicide rates are higher with the ones who go through it than it is.
Correct.
And because they want to throw it out. Oh, just nobody accepts us. Nobody accepts us. No.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not the case. I don't agree with what you're saying.
That's not the case at all. Yeah,
but
that's not the case at all.
I think there's something wrong, and I think you need to. Like you and I talked about. You're stopping.
I'm fixing my mouse, Jim. Keep talking.
It's okay. You're stopping what your body naturally produces as far as hormones. You're stopping that, and then adding hormones to your body that you have to take for the rest of your life. Your body will not start producing estrogen if you're a man. I mean, I know there's small volumes of estrogen in men. I get it. But
already there's both.
Okay. Now, Richard Simmons, there's obviously a bunch of them in there.
A lot more. Some have more, Jim.
But anyway, so so you go in there. It just isn't healthy to me. I'm sorry. And all these people can sit there and say how happy they are. Mm-hmm. The person who, I cannot remember the name, Elliot, the one who played...
Oh yeah,
and woman became a man. Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Elliot Page, who, they talk about how happy he. She talks about how happy he is now that he. I've never seen the person smile on any picture I've ever seen. Doesn't look happy to me. But
doesn't look happy.
George Clooney is very accepting of him and very proud of him.
Oh, that's good. Thank God George Clooney is, God, I'm so sick and tired of those, Well, I mean, do you have any more Pride stuff, or you want me to move on?
Nope,
is that it
we're
for
done.
Pride? Yeah. So yeah, we're done. It's not like I'm not even going into that. So speaking of that, they had a big Hollywood bash for Joseph Robinette Biden.
Can we stop calling him?
Where he took in $30 million. Big achievement. Trump took in $50 million 2 minutes after he was convicted.
Over $50 million after that. And please stop calling Julia Roberts and George Clooney A-listers. Stop.
Yeah, please.
They're not anymore.
At this point.
Okay.
Yeah,
they
what
may be C plus.
Yeah, A-listers. Who's clamoring to get
that
them
movie
into
that those two were involved in? It tanked. I mean,
which one? Yeah, it was just recent.
There was I have not watched it, but it was a rom-com where they played ex-spouses going to their child's. I think it was their daughter's wedding.
Such an original movie idea. Yeah. But anyways,
I personally have never liked Julia Roberts. Okay, I've never thought she was great. Never liked her. Never.
No. Aaron Brockovich, great movie. What's that?
It was okay. It was all right. You know how I am with redheads. I just don't like her. I don't like her. It's all right.
Yeah, you don't. Aaron Brockovich. I like movies that are based on true stories, and that was a true story. It really happened, and it was kind of a good movie. And she did, I think, the role well. Other than that, no, I don't think she's good in almost anything she does. Truthfully, I'm not a big fan of hers. But I'm not
Pretty Woman. I'm gonna hit him.
That was a terrible.
Because that was a terrible movie. But oh my God, it was so
Richard
wonderful.
Gere's
so wonderful.
equally as freaking goofy, But Richard Gere's been in a couple good movies. Anyway, yeah, it's not the point that most of the lunatic left. They've been in good movies or so. I'm like saying they're not they're not good or entertaining or anything like that. It's just now my choice is not to support them anymore.
Exactly. Yeah. They sell. Yeah. Obviously, Julia Roberts in her prime. Bunch of movies, right?
Huge.
She made a lot of money. Huge. I mean, she was one of the highest paid actresses around, but not for me. And it was before I found out what her political beliefs were. Okay.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So all you people come on it. No, I did not care.
Yep, correct.
Before I knew Bruce Willis was conservative. Before I found out, I was a big Bruce Willis fan. Became even bigger fan when I found out he was conservative. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Poor Bruce Willis. Matter of fact, speaking of that, I just watched the movie Glass. So, the final one in the trilogy.
Took a while to make it, but
took a while to make it, and you could tell in there Bruce Willis was losing, but it was a good movie. I don't care what anybody says. That was entertaining. Yep. I know Samuel L. Jackson isn't a big conservative. I get it. Still watch the movie. I know that, but I also don't listen to Samuel L. Jackson spewing a lot about politics either. So, that's another thing. I don't care if you're conservative or liberal. Say nothing and just make movies. Yep. Do your job.
Put out a good movie.
Same thing in sports. Do your job.
Yep.
So, but anyways, so they had that big shindig over the weekend, and as usual, Biden seemed to be a little lost. What's happening? Where am I? Where do I go? So Joe Biden's president, Barack Obama, his boss, had to kind of lead him off stage. Well, I got that short video here, and then I'll give you the White House's spin on it. Very interesting. Here's Biden at the event and his leader, the Messiah. There he is in the middle. Those listening. Stiff as a board. Come on, Joe.
Come here.
Brock Grimes is here. Come on, Joe. Yeah, we got to go this way. And watch him just shuffle up like this is not a well man.
I know.
This is not a well man. This guy doesn't know where he's at. He has no idea what's going on. Huh? Yeah.
Leader of the free world. And wait till you hear my story on MSNBC.
Oh, cannot wait.
They obviously don't watch this shit.
Yeah, I know. So, White House defends Biden after video shows him freezing up at Hollywood fundraiser being led off stage by Barry Sortino, or Barack Obama, as a lot of people know. Yeah. The White House is again defending Joe Biden from the appearance of dementia On the world stage, after videos were posted late Saturday, you just saw that video there of Biden freezing up and Obama grabbing his arm and leading him off stage like you would have to do with somebody with dementia or a 4-year-old. One of the two. The video is the third one of the week that appears to show Biden either frozen or wandering. Video posted by Chris Gardner with the Hollywood Reporter that went viral shows Biden briefly applauding the audience and then standing frozen until Obama grabs him by the wrist and leads him off stage with a guiding hand on his back. That's a wrap on record-setting Democratic fundraiser for Joe Biden's re-election campaign, netting $28 million. That's a record for him, for Democrats. Mm-hmm. Former President Barack Obama and President Joe Biden, after final waves of Peacock Theater crowd, as Obama then grabs Biden's hand and leads him off, as we've seen that. So the White House says this. White House Senior Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates defending Biden on Sunday in comments that attacked the New York Post for its reporting of attacked the Post for showing a video of what really happened. It makes a lot of sense.
How dare them?
Quote, fresh off being fact-checked by at least 6 mainstream outlets for lying about the POTUS with cheap fakes, Rupert Murdoch's sad little super PAC, the New York Post, is back to disrespecting its readers and itself once again. Their ethical standards could deal with a little unfreezing by pretending the president taking in an applauding crowd for a few seconds is somehow wrong. And they're really admitting is, once again, is that they can't take on the leadership that's fueling the strongest economic growth in the world and bringing violent crime to a 50-year low. This lying sack of crap said. This is what they're saying. This was the spin on it, that he was just taking in the audience, Jim. He was just taking it in, completely stiff and frozen, had no idea until almost like somebody who's sleepwalking. You touch them and they come out of it,
Can we,
it was bizarre. Everything's bizarre with him.
Can we stop this turnaround in the history? Because he took over when we were just not, well, in some instances, beginning to come out of COVID. So I don't even want to hear that. I mean, that is ridiculous, and it's very much misinformation.
It is.
Because you take his work from 2021. Let's just give him 2021 to now. It's not the best economy in the world.
Terrible.
So it's just incredible.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us are feeling that it's best. We're having such great things. So many great things are happening.
Remember when you used to buy a dozen eggs for 99 cents?
Yeah. I remember that. It was it was 2019. I remember. At any rate, it was 2019.
And into 2020 a little bit.
Into 2020 a little bit until China virus came here. So, Jim, there's that. I've got a couple other videos if you want me to play it for you. Yep. There's an interesting one because I want to talk about Donald Trump is he's just a pure genius, I think. There's a new trend going around, right? You're at a restaurant, you're dining, you go ahead and you get your tab, and then you write on the receipt the following. Vote Trump, no tax on tips. Yeah. Vote Trump 2024, no tax on tips. And that was what he is suggesting. Here, let's hear this a little bit from.
This is the first time I've said this, and for those hotel workers and people that get tips, you're going to be very happy, because when I get to office, we are going to not charge taxes on tips, people making tips.
Makes sense.
It's been a point of contention for years and years and years, and you do a great job of service, you take care of people, and I think it's going to be something that really is deserved. More importantly, popular or unpopular. I do some unpopular things too if it's right for the country. I do what's right.
Yep.
The Culinary Union, which represents 60,000 hospitality workers, issued a statement reading, "Relief is definitely needed for tip earners, but Nevada workers are smart enough to know the difference between real solutions and wild campaign promises from a convicted felon." During his Western state swing, Trump has also continued to hammer President Biden's executive action to curb the number of migrants seeking asylum.
That goes on to something else then.
See, that's
what the Culinary Union said. Yeah.
going to make all these illegals coming in working at these Mexican restaurants now getting tips are like, ooh, I like that. Yeah.
That's right. That's right. So now what? But so continued. If you go out to dinner and you get your receipt, right, vote Trump 2024, no tax on tips, leave your tip and just keep writing it. Keep doing it. It's going around. It's going crazy. But I don't think it's a wild campaign promise. I think it easily can be achieved.
Yeah.
Easily be achieved. It makes me wonder if you leave a tip on the credit card, right? If you're not just giving cash, and we try to give cash as often as possible for this reason,
right?
Right. That can be tracked. The credit card company gets a certain percentage. Probably that then it's noted on taxes, your tips and all that. Just stop already. It's the tip they've earned. That's how they make their living.
They don't make a lot of money per hour.
They don't. Oh, no. We all know that. They don't make a lot of money, but they rely heavily on their tips. And if you think the service is crappy, don't leave a tip. Do what you got to do on your end. But I mean, to tax their tips, it's just taxes in general. I can't even get into it. Just absolutely unconstitutional. The taxes, your income tax is unconstitutional at this point.
Yep.
And we know it.
Yeah, now he is talking about doing something. Now, please keep in mind, folks, when he says get rid of the income tax, it's more of a flat tax.
As it should be.
I think he is leading to. And but you have other states that do not have state income tax. You have a lot of them.
Yep, correct.
And
I live in one.
Sales tax. I mean,
we have sales tax, but no state tax.
Right. So, now I think Oregon has no sales tax, but they have very high state tax.
And they get you one way or the other. Don't
You're going to get
because I don't have this doesn't mean they're not screwing me over on this. You know, so I get that. But it just, and what's going to happen? Biden's already said he's letting the tax credits expire.
And we already went over that in a show a while back.
We went over that.
Showed what happens when we will be high, folks, corporate tax rates. Once he lets those expire, if he gets reelected, we will be higher corporate tax rate than communist China.
Correct.
You heard that correctly.
You heard that correctly. You heard that correctly. Jim, you got a couple quick stories before I have some other. I want to play a couple other things, but I'm half hour into it. You let me know if you want me to. Well, you want to talk about one of your stories is about Trump, isn't it? Kind of visiting.
Well, I want to. Let me.
But you can start where you want.
You want me to do some smaller stories first, and then we go.
Oh yeah,
let's do the smallest because
okay.
I didn't
know that was one of your bigger ones. So,
well, it won't. Well, let's see.
It's not listed here as what you told me.
Yeah, isn't it?
No, here's what I got, Jim. And let's review for everybody. Let's read the minutes. We got MSNBC praises Biden, a new coverage for auto insurance. Squad member or 2 guys, 1 coup was right.
Yeah, that's
okay.
That's the Trump. That's the Democrat thing on.
We'll wait.
Anyway,
okay.
But
good.
I want to give credit to Chicago's teachers union.
Wow.
Okay. Amid.
Really?
By the way, that was sarcasm.
Oh, okay. I was like, really?
Sheldon Cooper.
I don't understand sarcasm. Yeah.
So, they're at it again, and this is what amazes me. I want you to read what they're asking for. Or I'm gonna listen to what they're asking for, folks, and then and I'm gonna tell you what is missing from this. Okay, or maybe I'll ask you what you think is missing.
Yeah.
The Gateway Pundit recorded that according to the documents leaked to Fox News in May, the $50 billion they are asking for, $50 billion, and we've already talked about how
Chicago's
the economy in Chicago is just dying, right?
Yep.
9% wage hike. If you can get it, fine. You know that I'm not paying it. Whatever.
Yeah.
Fully paid abortions for its members.
What?
Fully paid abortions for its members. New migrant services and facilities, and a myriad of LBGT related requirements. They also demanded the Green School Initiative. And the Green School Initiative could cost the city hundreds of millions of dollars.
Can I ask a question? What's in it for the children?
There you go. I was just going to ask you, what is missing from here?
What is missing from that? What is in it for the children? The teachers union's asking this crap.
Here it is, folks. The union. The teachers union is the problem.
Yep.
All right. And teachers that buy into it is the problem. It's the teachers union that's the problem, because they're making money off of failing children.
Yes.
They're failing children. Now, I get it. The parents are a huge part of it. Okay. Yeah. If you have parents that don't give a shit, it's harder for a teacher to educate. I get it. I understand that completely. Mm-hmm. But you're asking for $50 billion. You're asking the taxpayers, because remember, this is a public fund. You're asking the taxpayers to pay $50 billion more to give you a 9% wage hike. Okay. Mm-hmm. But there's no punishment that if you don't achieve your goals, because you're going to blame the parents.
Correct.
Or lack of money.
Yeah.
On the educating of these kids, and not maybe the teacher's just not good. Because there is possible.
One more point? Can I add one more point?
Go ahead.
How many teachers are going to be needed if we keep killing babies?
Exactly.
I mean, free abortions. Fully paid for abortions. Who are you going to teach? Stupids. Jim, that is an incredible. And is it going to happen? Is that happening?
It's Chicago.
Well, of course it's happening.
I mean, come on.
Stupid question. I agree. Stupid.
And I used to love going to that city. It was always a great vacation. You go to a museum of science and industry. You go to this neat aquarium. You could go to a day game for the White Sox, and then go to a game in Wrigley.
Cubs.
I mean,
and then a night game. Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't go to a night game for the White Sox. You go to a day. Enjoy the day.
Yeah,
but anyway,
you don't want to go
because there's a lot of illegals down there now, apparently.
Oh,
so. Mm-hmm. But yeah, Chicago. Teachers unions are terrible.
Terrible.
And how much money are these teachers unions making? They don't give a shit about children's education.
This is why disbanding the Department of Education is necessary.
Yeah,
absolutely necessary.
Now we do want to get into some things, and you're going to play some videos. But President Trump was in Detroit.
He was
right.
He was.
Okay,
he was in Detroit.
So we're going to play. Dale has a couple videos. We're going to play videos. We're going to talk about some things. One is a pastor. Did you have that one?
Yep, I do have that one. Yep.
And then another one is a former mayor of Detroit that endorses Donald Trump, who once endorsed Biden or Obama. But we'll get into
I don't have that video. After, but yeah, I do have the Trump and the church and the pastor and all that. You want to play that one? I think I have the longer version, so it's a couple minutes. But if you need me to pause it or stop or interject, just let me know. But here's this.
We do have to go to the man of the house. This is his church. Pastor Sewell, the floor is yours. Please share whatever you would like to share, because basically, tomorrow you're going to do that anyway. So, go ahead and share now.
President Trump, I'm so humbled that you would be here. President Obama never came to the hood, so to speak, right?
Yep.
President Joe Biden, he went to the big NAACP dinner, but he never came to the hood. Mm-hmm. So thank you.
Thank you, Pastor.
Very humble.
Really nice. Thank you. My honor.
That's awesome.
My honor, he said.
Our community is disenfranchised, we're marginalized, we're pushed aside. And there are two things that are happening with crime and employment. You're an entrepreneur. How do you see funding entrepreneurs, specifically keeping the black dollar in the black community? Let me explain. If I want to eat, I have to give my money to the Albanians at Coney Island. If you want to get gas, you need to go to the Chaldeans. Yep. If you want to have your hair look like mine, you got to go to Asians. And I thank God for Asians. My wife is right there. She's Asian. Our children are Blasian. So I give it up to my Asian brothers and sisters.
Yeah.
But we don't keep the black dollar in the black community. You're an entrepreneur. What does it look like for black entrepreneurs to be able to get resources they need? So we don't look for a handout, but a hand up.
There you go.
And and we talk about this, you have a lot of dollars in the black community and they don't keep it. I think one of the biggest problems that I see is the crime. They have to stop the crime. If they stop the crime, you're going to see more and more stores sprout. And we're losing them in other communities too, where there's crime. You see empty stores, you see them all over. They see big stores they moved in 10 years ago. They spent millions of dollars to build it, and now they're leaving. And these are not necessarily black communities. In many cases, they're not at all. But where there's crime, there's empty stores, and you don't keep the money.
I mean,
we're going to stop the crime. We have to let people feel free and be able to walk outside and not even think about being mugged or hit or shot or anything. And, one of the examples, I see the love in this church. It's incredible what you've done. You've done an incredible job. I would like to ask if you could final out with a prayer. Is that okay? I don't want to get you by surprise here because this was not, but I've heard so much about you and so many great things, and it's such an honor to be here. It's such an incredible honor. And with so many of my friends that are political leaders that are really going places, and he is on the list, by the way, and I don't know if he's going to make it, but he's on a list of a few people, right? Not too many people. Would you like to be VP? Huh?
Trump. That's the thing. He's showing up to places.
Isn't that something that Obama didn't even go to the hood? The hood,
believe it?
Right?
Yeah, that's what they call it. Mm-hmm. That's what they call it. That's what they're calling it.
Well,
that's incredible.
Okay, first of all, where is he living now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know.
He's living in Martha's Vineyard, for God's sake.
Yep.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not even.
Not that he should live in the hood. I'm not saying that. That's not even a point. I'm not saying you have to move.
But what did he ever do for them?
But what did he ever do for them? Nothing.
I mean, how many times we have to hear from people talking about, well, you know what he did for the black Americans is he's given them, look at what can happen.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Does that put money in their pockets?
That does.
Does that give jobs opportunities for them? Does that help them clean up their cities?
Correct.
No.
Nope. Not at all. Yep. Not at all. It's incredible. The only other ones I have from Detroit, though, by the way, is I have Tom Homan, who was the immigration secretary, director of, was it Homeland Security? No, it was immigration, wasn't it? I'm sorry, Tom. He was the administration as acting director of the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, so ICE. He was the acting administrator under Trump. He had a brief couple things to say at the Turning Point USA event that happened in Detroit. I just think this is very interesting because this really hits the point on immigration. So if I can play that real quick, and then we'll go back to
go for it.
Whatever you want to go for. So here he is. Listen.
In January of 25, the greatest president of my lifetime walking back in the White House. He tells me we got, I say 120 days. He says, no, you got 60 to lock the border down. Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I told the president. He comes back, I come back, we fix this shit. And you can take that to the bank.
Yep.
The president asked me, well, Tom, won't you be taking a big pay cut? Yeah, about 75%. But I'm so pissed off, I'll come back for free. But
it's true too. He would. He would. I mean, it's incredible.
We keep talking about this. These idiots, Queers for Palestine. These people going out making all these. Your decision. Now, granted, they don't care probably because they're going to vote for their guy, right? But let's just face it. These illegals have come into this country let's just go with from Biden, right? Less than 3 years. They're getting more money than our American citizens are.
Correct. Okay.
They get free places to stay. I don't know how long it lasts. I have no idea. I can't imagine that it lasts for as long as they're here. I hope that's not the case.
Why wouldn't it though?
They're given this free stuff where we have people suffering in this country.
Yeah.
And
truly.
When are people going to realize that this administration, because Obama did the same thing, they care more about the illegals coming into this country than they care about their own people. And they need these illegals because that's their voter base now.
Yep.
Isn't that scary?
scary.
People who just got here are their voter base.
Correct.
And that should piss off the rest of this. And the black vote, 50%, still going to go to the Democrats.
Yep.
I don't understand it.
50
They're
or
obviously
more.
not paying any attention. They're not paying any attention. But the point of the matter is, President Trump, I believe, will get at least 30%. And
he's
that is
working his way
unheard
up
of.
there to 30. He's
That
already
is
at
absolutely
21,
unheard of,
22%. Yeah, never.
And I think eventually it's going to get there.
It could.
So,
there's so many more that
anyway.
are coming out and talking about it and talking, support.
And
for
another case in point. Now, okay, I know some people are going to bring this. Well, he was a convicted guy. Okay, but anyway, Kwame Kilpatrick, who is a former Democrat mayor of Detroit, has endorsed Donald Trump, and he says, "I can never thank President Trump enough for what he's done for me." All right, so he was a former Democrat mayor and close friend of Barack Obama, endorsed President Trump on Saturday. Kwame Kilpatrick was sentenced to federal court to 28 years in prison for public corruption back in 2013. This was the longest corruption sentence ever handed down to a public official.
Wow.
Kilpatrick was previously endorsed by Barack Obama and was once mentioned as a possible candidate for president. Kilpatrick named himself Detroit's hip-hop mayor. I remember this when this happened during his time in office. Now, Kilpatrick was allegedly running a criminal enterprise, stealing millions from the city of Detroit. His convictions include tax crimes, racketeering, bribing, and extortion. President Trump commuted Kwame Kilpatrick's prison sentence before he left office in 2021. He had served 7 years of his 28-year sentence. Okay, so before anybody goes over and said, "Oh my God, here he is, this convicted criminal," let another convicted criminal out, commuted his sentence, because it was ridiculous. When the average years served for these individuals are less than 10 years, this guy was serving 28 years.
Yeah.
And Barack Obama did nothing for him.
Did nothing.
And folks, by the way, he's a black man.
Yeah.
And
Democrat,
so he
Detroit
knows what
mayor.
President Trump has done. And this guy has done nothing but good things since he's been out.
Yep.
Okay, we make mistakes. I get it. You pay for it and all of that. We all know that. But the problem is when you talk about the punishment, meaning the crime, other people who have done worse than what this guy did are walking around free right now. Nobody's even prosecuting them.
No, correct.
But this guy gets 28 years?
Yep.
Nah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Understood. And that's why they feel that's why they're disenfranchised. That's why they can associate what's happened to Trump in New York in the Bragg case to what's happened to them personally.
Yeah.
Wait, you're getting run through the cleaners here, and for what? For misdemeanor, for nothing. You're getting, and they feel that, they know that, and the support keeps climbing and climbing.
Add into your border video, real quick. I wanted to talk before we get into our stories.
Sure, go ahead.
Here's another thing that went on the radar, folks. Went under the radar, and when are we going to say enough's enough? President Joe Biden will host a White House event next week celebrating an Obama-era directive that offered deportation protections for young undocumented immigrants as his own administration prepares for potential new benefits for others without legal status, but with a long-standing ties to the United States. Now, long-standing ties to the United States, folks, he's going to go 3 years. He's going to get all the, because he wants them to vote.
Yep.
This is what this is. Okay. The White House officials are closing in on a plan that would tap Biden's executive powers to shield spouses of U.S. citizens without legal status from deportation, offer them work permits, and ease their path toward permanent residency and eventually American citizenship, according to 5 people with knowledge of the
amnesty
deliberations. It's an amnesty bill, folks. I am tired of amnesties. I know most of all presidents have done it. I get it. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
They're here illegally. They broke the law to get into this country.
Correct.
They broke the law. Okay. And now we're going to reward them.
Like Trump said.
And yet we have people that did it the right way.
Yeah.
Spent years studying, doing all the things that they had to do, doing everything right. And that pride that they have when they hold up that citizen. I know. That pride, you see it. You see it on their faces, the pride that they become citizens.
Yeah.
And they're watching this.
Yeah, I know.
They're saying that all they got to do is, okay, now all of a sudden, all those years you did it. And look, it's wrong. It is. It's enough's enough. We got to take care of ourselves. And I know I hate to say that. People hate to say that because that's not what America's about. at this particular time, we can still help the suffering. But folks, let's knock this shit off. These illegals are here. Most of them are here. They don't even give a shit.
Yeah.
All right. We know that. They're not families looking for a better life. They're not.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it just keeps going. And oh, by the way, no one's talking about it, but did you notice that our terror threat is highest it's ever been?
They just caught 8 ISIS terrorists associated with ISIS last week. Jim, before we go on this, you may or may not have remember, but the name Rachel Morin, she was murdered. I think last year. She was a mother of 5. Maryland. Well, they caught the guy who did it. I have real quick here. I have the sheriff who's talking about that. So let me play that.
Victor Hernandez did not come here to make a better life for himself or for his family. He came here to escape the crime he committed in El Salvador. He came here and murdered Rachel.
August 5th, 2023, the death of 37-year-old Rachel Morin, a mother of 5, rocked the Harford County community. Her body discovered along the Ma and Pa Trail in Bel Air. Today,
Rachel's murderer is no longer a free man.
10 months later, police announcing the arrest of 23-year-old Victor Antonio Martinez Hernandez, charged with first-degree rape and murder. In March 2023, police say he brutally attacked a 9-year-old girl and her mother in Los Angeles. He's seen leaving the home in this surveillance video police released in August.
I don't know if you did.
The lead we received was related to DNA evidence and allowed investigators to finally put a name to the image of the suspect in the video from Los Angeles.
Again, another senseless murder because of Joe Biden's policies. When is Joe Biden, Merrick Garland, Mayorkas, when are these people going to be held liable, responsible, criminally tried for the murders of these people?
Not with this DOJ.
When's it going to happen? When is it going to happen? Another senseless murder that was unnecessary,
and that gives you
could have been avoided.
Yeah, that gives you another reason on why they're trying to cheat.
Yeah.
Because there's some people who their freedom could depend on this. Because these are legitimate crimes that they're committing.
These are crimes
against the
These
American
are treason
people.
Against the United States. They're accessories to the murders. If you ask me, no, I mean I think most people would think that. Yep. So you're right. So Jim, I wanted to play that it fell right in line with the whole immigration bullshit that keeps on going on. Do you want to get into stories now?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. You got MSNBC praises Biden. Is that the one you want to lead off with? Yeah, I think that's kind of,
okay. So folks, I'm going to read this and I'm just going to tell you, you guys saw the video. You've seen multiple videos. Okay. Yes, multiple videos of this man.
Of stable.
MSNBC host praises Biden as playing chess.
Oh, God.
While Trump, at best, is playing hungry hippos.
It's a funny line. But
it's a funny line. I mean, I'm going to give the guy credit. Yeah. Actually, female. But MSNBC co-host Alicia Menendez said that President Biden is playing chess while former president is playing hungry hippos when it comes to the 2024 presidential election.
Okay.
The MSNBC segment began with co-host Michael Steele praising Biden, claiming he has had 2 strong weeks because of his performance at the GS Summit and recent economic news.
He pooped his pants at the summit.
I said this was a great week for the president. How many weeks has he been president? He's had 2 good weeks. Okay. He's having the best.
I don't. More.
He's having the best back-to-back weeks, both the national stage and domestically, the economy, and the numbers were strong coming out on inflation. Folks, the numbers are not strong on inflation. So stop the crap. They're putting these things in. What is this year? It's an election year. Okay. It always happens. They do stuff to make things look better. It's everyone has done it. But it's amazing because you think about the fact that
to make a candidate's last year in office look worse, like the China virus,
exactly,
impeachment.
Well, in that case, if you're a Republican, this is what you do. Yeah. The former president is at best playing hungry hippos. Menendez. Oh, by the way, she is the daughter of embattled Democrat Senator Bob Menendez. We all know.
Oh, the one who's just got
the one who threw his wife under the bus. Remember that?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, it was her. She did it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Former senior advisor and Biden turned MSNBC host Simone Sanders Townsend said, maybe Uno. I'm going to give him Uno, maybe. He's playing Uno and somebody keeps telling him to draw 4. That wasn't as funny as the Hungry Hippo said. But anyway, it is nonetheless how ridiculous these individuals. And oh, by the way, this just coming off, they just played before they started talking about this when he was saying that the idea that we had to wait all those months just to get the money for Iraq. I mean, it's not who we are. It's not what America is. Folks, that was Ukraine.
Ukraine.
It wasn't Iraq.
Said, what a great couple of weeks.
Yeah, he's playing chess, folks.
Let's be honest.
Playing
for
chess
Biden,
against
that was
me
a great
because
couple
I don't know
of
how
weeks.
to play chess.
for Biden, that was a great couple of weeks. That's how low the bar has been set. That's a good week for him.
How much longer can they spin this, Dale? MSNBC, your ratings are going down, not as low as what CNN's, but it's going down because it looks like the liberal network of choice is MSNBC.
Yeah.
And I don't these 5 panelists that were on here. Mm-hmm. We're talking about how great Biden is doing. This is insulting to the American people because, again, I'm going back to these 5 people. None of them have to worry about paying for eggs. None of them have to worry about paying for groceries because they probably don't have to worry about it. They have somebody going out and doing it for them.
Yeah, exactly.
All right? Or they're vegan and they don't, whatever the hell else that food shit is.
Sorry,
but anyway.
I mean, we might have listeners who are vegan, but really?
It's like, I like my vegan as they
fried.
As they
deep
eat
fried,
the grass or the nutrients that make me eat the meat.
That's right.
Tastes
technically vegan.
Anyway, but hey, if you want to eat vegan, that's fine. I'm not insulting you per se.
Well,
but
do you know how a vegan? Do you know how to spot a vegan?
Mm-mm.
They'll tell you.
Oh, that's a good point. Yeah, that is. But anyway, folks, I kid you not. MSNBC talks about how terrible President Trump is and how great Biden is.
Yeah.
When we keep seeing these videos that this man has no clue where he's at. And the economy is not taking a turnaround. Do not fall for it. You see the cost of houses going up. You see everything in here is going up now.
Yeah,
nobody can afford anything.
Came down, Jim. So
they came down because what is it?
To still historically high levels.
It's an election year.
It's not pre-Biden levels still.
They're going to fool people. And this is what bothers me. Yeah. You have these idiots out there who shouldn't be allowed to vote because they're dumb. And, but they're going to say, oh, my God, look, a Biden economy is working. So we're going to go ahead and vote for him. And then it's going to go right back to shit.
It is.
Because this is what they do. And, but anyway, MSNBC. Watch it.
Well, so another take on that is we all know, and because of that, we know how bad MSNBC is in general. Biden is in trouble, and we all know it. You see it every day, despite, unless you're 5 panelists on MSNBC, the rest of the world is seeing it. And I'm not talking just our country, the rest of the world. But there's a take, and it's an opinion piece by Tom Del Beccaro in Fox News Digital. Who wrote the following: Biden's in trouble, but here are 5 reasons Dems won't tap Gavin Newsom for the White House run. This is his opinion.
I disagree. I can't. Fine.
Okay. First of all, they say Newsom's failed debate with DeSantis. Now that's a valid point. He couldn't win a debate with DeSantis because facts are facts. I know that. But this is quick. I'm just running through them. I don't need to do the explanation. We all saw the debate. If you hadn't, you can go back and watch it. But Newsom's distraction from Biden's campaign had to end. So what he says here is, for a period of time, it helped the Democrats that Newsom was taking the fight to Republicans. Newsom was good at attacking Republicans when he did not have to answer questions about his own record. However, once Biden made it clear he was not going to step aside, Newsom's young viral forays against Republicans became a problem for Biden. It took the spotlight from Biden and fueled the calls for Biden to step aside. That's not untrue.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, everybody was like Newsom, and then Biden's. Yeah, that was a division within the Democrats. California is a mess and getting worse. On the debate stage with DeSantis, Gavin Newsom boasted, as he usually does, about how great California is. The pictures and numbers say otherwise. We all know that. Though California is not the beacon of what you would want in your country.
I understand.
So if they're going to, so my point here is if they're going to cheat,
Delaware?
if they're going to cheat, Delaware, the 49 largest economy in the United States. If they're going to cheat, why not keep the puppet in there? Why not keep the guy you're controlling in there? Why take him out? Now, everyone's saying at the convention or before the convention or shortly after, and it may happen. We feel it still may. We still feel it may be Newsom. This guy thinks otherwise, and he makes some valid points. Here's another reason.
Absolutely. We're not 100% certain.
Well, no.
Yep.
No.
So,
I mean, here's another one. California is ground zero for the nationwide insurance crisis.
Mm-hmm.
All across the country, a home insurance crisis is on the rise. However, California's insurance crisis dates back to Proposition 103, a 1988 ballot initiative that rolled back existing rates. Matters have only become worse over the years. In 2023, this story ran about California. 7 of California's largest property insurers, State Farm, Allstate Farmers, USA Save, Travelers Nationwide, and Chubb, recently decided to limit new homeowner policies in the Golden State, raising questions about the stability of California's home insurance.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Now, that happens in a lot of states, too. Florida's had that issue with that because of natural disasters, hurricanes, floods. It's hard to get in. It's not cheap to get home insurance here.
Right.
So, and then, of course, lastly, he puts California's housing crisis. Beyond the insurance problem, only 15% of Californians can afford a home. 15%.
Yeah. You've seen the cost of houses there, right? Yeah.
I know. It's always been bizarre. 15%, 85% of Californians can't afford a home.
Right.
Coming to a country near you soon if Gavin Newsom gets in there. That's an incredible stat.
Colin Cowherd's an idiot because he doesn't have
That's
to
why
worry
Colin
about
Cowherd's an idiot. Yep.
He doesn't
That's
have to
why
he makes all that money.
It doesn't matter to Colin Cowherd. It doesn't matter to him. He's multi-millionaire.
In all honesty,
yeah.
They want those poor people out of California so the rest of it's for them. That's what they want.
Yep. That's what they want. So that's exactly what they want. And Gavin Newsom included wants that. So anyways, that's real quick. That's the 5 reasons why he thinks, and I don't disagree with him.
I like those reasonings because you and I constantly say coming soon to a country near you, right?
Correct.
Everything we've talked about this guy. But
correct.
If I can follow on I'm going to add on
move
to
on,
what we were
son,
right.
Move on.
No. Where we were right, I'm adding on to
go do that one.
Okay. Representative Anna Paulina Luna says she has heard Biden will likely be replaced as Democrat nominee. Now, Florida Representative Anna Paulina Luna says she is hearing on Capitol Hill that Joe Biden will likely be replaced as a Democrat presidential nominee by November. Luna discussed the matter during an appearance on Thursday's episode of Jesse Waters. The Congresswoman told Waters a lot of people realize that Joe Biden's likely not going to be the nominee, which is from what we're hearing on Capitol Hill. Jesse, Representative Kiley had reported that Kamala Harris is actually eyeing a run for the California governor.
Oh, Jesus.
Because Schiff is having problems.
Yes, I know. Mm-hmm.
All right.
That's right.
So
he's not.
God forbid you can't have a Republican, Steve Garvey, I don't know what kind of Republican he's going to be. Right.
Yeah, I don't know.
But the Democrats are losing it.
Better than Schiff.
Now,
that's all I'm saying.
There have been rumors and rumblings that California Governor Gavin Newsom will replace Biden, but he has maintained that is not the plan. So you are hearing also in D.C. that Joe Biden isn't going to be the Democrat nominee, to Waters asked. Correct, Luna replied. It appears that our colleagues are trying to put guardrails on the 2024 presidential election with President Trump. And also what you're seeing is, according to our polling, Jesse, as well as I do, that they've been trying to really paint Republicans as anti-woman, and they're trying to push an abortion crisis right now with the election. And I don't think that's the case at all. Luna continued, a lot of American people know that really. Okay, so that goes on to that. But Folks, I really honestly believe it's Gavin because they don't have anybody. The judge threw out Gretchen Whitmer, and I respect Judge Wilson beyond belief, right?
Yep.
Completely.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Gretchen, if that's the best one, Gretchen Whitmer.
Wow. I mean,
this country's in deep shit, folks.
Would it surprise you?
I mean, this is what they. Yes, it would. It would. I was surprised to hear her come up.
Mm-hmm,
honestly, it surprised me to hear her name being mentioned. But I still say, folks, we have been talking about this since day one. Now, it may or may not happen because, again, this is our opinion piece, right? This is what we talk about. But you and I have been saying for a long time that Gavin Newsom is eventually going to be this candidate. Now, he may or may not be. We don't know. We're not in there. But you can't let this guy be president. He won't make it.
No,
he won't make it another 4 years, folks. He will not. You see
that
what
might
he's
not
doing
matter
now.
to him. Yeah,
but let alone he is going to have to stand for 90 minutes in 2 weeks.
I know they're not sitting. I mean,
he is going to have to stand for 90 minutes and
without any communication with his staff
to lead him out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
they'll do
anyway,
something with something. I mean, the guy is going to be so jacked up on.
I would
whatever.
No, this guy is going to be on so many drugs. It's not even funny. But anyway, but you and I have been saying it since day one. I just this can't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I agree with 100% with what you said. If we truly believe they're going to try and cheat, which there's evidence out there that there is. We talked about Arizona.
Yeah.
In certain counties in Arizona, there's more people registered to vote than who actually live there. Okay, to me is a red light, you know.
Yep.
So anyway, but we know that this guy can't. You and I know it. He's not capable of. He was never capable when he was supposedly in his right mind. Okay, he was a horrible individual. The guy was racist beyond belief. Who knows what he did to children? Okay, who knows? I'm not going to sit here and say he did anything, but there are some uncomfortable things that happened with him with children, especially his own children. And
the diary, it's true.
Yep. I mean, it's anyway. But I still think, even though they're trying to downplay it, I really honestly believe Gavin Newsom is their only hope outside of. I mean, I just don't think it. So,
which is a terrible.
Yep.
If that's the case. That's just absolutely.
No, but a funny thing is a Newsom Whitmer.
Oh, Jesus God! I mean,
look out, world!
Look out! Yeah, I mean, it's time for
Gavin Newsom's owned by China.
To happen. Mm-hmm.
Thanks to the book by Peter Schweitzer, he's owned by China. What do you think happens when he gets become? Look at what's happened with Biden.
Oh, jeez!
Is China hurting? Oh, you know what China's doing?
Yeah,
China's going to replace the United States with producing combustible engines.
I know they are. That's what they're doing. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Try and find a car, American-made sedan, folks.
Oh yeah, go on.
Non-electric.
Correct.
Try and find one.
Yeah, let's talk about that real quick. What cars are available domestically? I say domestic. You know, they're made in Mexico.
Yeah, right.
But I'm saying let's just take the big three. You know, you take Ford, GM, Chrysler, right?
Mm-hmm.
What cars? So Ford, you got the Mustang.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. Yep. Chevy, what do you have? You have the Camaro, and this is the last year for the Camaro, huh?
And the Malibu stopped, right? They don't make
Malibu stopped.
anymore.
Impala stopped.
Yeah.
Anyway, you can't.
Yeah, and this is last year for the Camaro. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, last year for Camaro. Buick, I think you still have the I can't remember the names of the Buick cars, but I think you still have a couple of those cars left. But they're already stopping production on those too.
Mm-hmm.
Chrysler, what do you got? You still got the Charger. I think those are going away. Challenger and the Chrysler 300.
Yep.
I think they're all going away.
I thought the Chrysler 300 did.
I think you could still get a new Chrysler 300. I don't think it's I don't think there is a Chrysler. I think you still can. Could be wrong. The point of the matter is you got about 3 or 4 choices currently.
Mm-hmm.
And that's fine. I'm an SUV guy anyway, so I don't care.
Right.
What I'm saying is that try to find like Mercedes sedans, crazy cool BMWs, Porsche.
Well, let's go with the normal
Panamera
ones that people can afford. Toyota's still doing it. Honda's still
doing it. Toyota's still doing it.
Kia's
Honda's still doing it. Kia's still doing it. They're still doing it. But not those. At any rate, Jim, let's move on. I'm going to talk now about the Southern Poverty Law Center real quick. If you know them, they're really good friends to the Moms for Liberty group, as well as a lot of other conservative groups. They are not. One of the notorious far left groups in the nation just handed 60 employees their pink slips. It's not the first time the Southern Poverty Law Center has seen a mass exodus from its workforce, but this round of layoffs may signal an important shift in the political winds just as the national election cycle begins to heat up. As a staffer claimed on X, formerly known as Twitter. Why do we got to keep saying that?
I know.
I read it. I don't know why I keep saying it. Just, X. We know what X is. The SPLC's recent downsizing comes even while the nonprofit is hoarding over $1 billion of donor funds in reserves. While that assertion dwarfs much more reliable reporting, tabbing the number just north of 160 million, what would appear to be a gross exaggeration actually provides a perfect window to understand the shell game the SPLC has been playing on the American people for the last 4 decades. After all, exaggeration and outright lies have been the common currency of the SPLC for decades. A member of the Direct Marketing Association's Hall of Fame, Dees, was unceremoniously booted from the SPLC in 2019, while longtime President Richard Cohen resigned in disgrace amid swirling allegations of racism and sexism at the company headquarters. And don't kid yourself into thinking that anything has changed in 2021. One ex-SPLC staff member wrote at the Daily Beast that even the follow-up efforts to address this toxic culture were designed to protect the reputation of SPLC and not to enact or recommend changes that would benefit staff. Let me get to the nitty-gritty of this. Where does it say here? This hasn't showed downsize. Tellingly, the SPLC's round of layoffs comes just days after realizing its annual update to the laughable hate group document, which one federal judge, an Obama appointee, deemed entirely subjective. Included on the list were grassroots parental rights groups like Moms for Liberty. This is what they reviewed, and physician groups who oppose experimenting with transgender medical interventions like cross-sex puberty hormones on children. That's who these people stand for. Do you think anything will change after the layoffs? I mean, the layoffs are strictly, and it's only 60, and I don't know how many are unemployed there. It doesn't say in this. I don't know what the employee count is at SPLC.
The wealthy people aren't making as much money, so they have to get rid of people so they can make
correct
money.
That's what's happening here. But do you think so? My point here to this is they've laid off people, so what? Who cares, right? They should close down because of their lies. The point with SPLC always is this. They won't learn their lesson. It doesn't matter what controversies they have. It doesn't matter that they just out and out lie to the public. The funding continues to come in. $1 billion, Jim. Who's funding it?
Well, they get a lot of. Isn't it a not for profit? So they get government.
Yeah, who's funding it?
Yeah. Democrats, I think.
So you think and okay, yeah. I'm just going to say, do you think the average Democrat voter is sending money?
Oh no. They're bigger people. They're
And so, is there?
But again, it's another example of a black organization that makes money on the backs of black people.
Yep, correct.
They don't make them better. They don't help their lives. I mean, what help?
What have they given?
How much does it help a black person's life? Okay,
they laid off 60 people. How many of those were of color?
Putting Moms for Liberty on this list. How much money? How did they help black people doing that?
How did they? They didn't. Nope.
And Black Lives Matter Global Network. They didn't help black people's lives.
Nope.
But certainly helped themselves, didn't it?
So here's Jim. Why can't we start the Northern Poverty Law Center and just have it? Are we allowed to just then spew the lies that they do and post things and classify?
Well, the funny thing is, we wouldn't be spewing lies.
Well, I agree.
Yeah.
But even if we wanted to, just say we know for a fact that Attorney General Merrick Garland is a known terrorist and his ties with Hamas. That could be true. I don't know. Allegedly, that might be true. I don't know that. But my point is, can I say that legally?
Yeah.
And then what if something happens? Like the Moms for Liberty group in general, Jim, have been harassed and threatened, lives threatened, because of the Southern Poverty Law Center.
Their families threatened.
Families threatened because of that. Where's the liability?
There isn't. I don't care.
Does this thing go to a Supreme Court? My point is, how can our system allow that kind of stuff?
First of all, if you and I did something like that, we would lose the 501c3.
Well, for sure. You know,
they won't, but
we started one, Jim. We haven't started one yet, have we?
No, we should.
About time. About time.
Yep.
We need board members for that. If anybody wants to jump on board with our new 501c3, the Northern Poverty Law Center.
We wouldn't make nearly as much money as she did.
Oh, Patricia Cullors? Yeah, from BLM? No, I wouldn't be able to have all those lavish homes, because of it. Well, Jim, I just wanted to say that. I thought it was interesting. They laid off people. Them, how many were color? So how many of them
My guess is all of them were.
My guess was most, if not all, were. Again, another helping the black community. That's why blacks are waking up to this. That's why 30% minimum Trump will get. We are calling it now. That's why they need 40% illegals to vote.
Yeah, exactly.
Jim, you have something else to talk
real quick.
This interests me.
This interests me. Because this is right down 2 Guys, 1 Coup alley.
Okay.
By the way, folks, when I'm done reading this, think about this. This has gone to a federal court. This is a federal appeals court. It's gone to. Okay, and I'm not lying when I make this up. Ready? A federal appeals court on Wednesday heard arguments over whether car insurance should pay out benefits to a woman who caught sexually transmitted diseases from a policyholder in his insured car.
I don't disagree with the lawsuit in a way.
Oh, come on. Give me.
No, you're in their car.
Oh my God! I'm
not.
Who is the lawyer who did this?
Jim,
the Geico General Insurance Company versus Missouri. A Missouri woman, a titler, MO, Missouri, claims that her partner, Martin Browner, negligently infected her with a human papilloma virus, HPV, after they had sex in his 2014 Hyundai Genesis. She claims Bronner was aware he had HPV, but neglected to inform her. So if she got it in a hotel room, could she sue the hotel?
She sues Marriott, the whole corporation.
Or his homeowner's insurance, or whatever, whatever you got.
Who made the
really,
car
guys?
Seats? That's really who needs it. I mean, it's going to trickle down to the wiring.
I read this and I'm like, I read this. I'm like,
this truly happened. Like, it went to court. What was there a decision?
Not only court, it's in an appeals court now.
Oh, it's an appeals court because they ruled in favor
it's in a
her.
Federal appeals court heard arguments on whether, in February 2020, Missouri filed a $1 million claim against Bronner and his insurer. $1 million. Maryland-based Geico claiming she should be compensated for bodily injury under the car insurance policy. She chose to get in this car, by the way, and sleep with somebody.
Yeah.
Right? So who knows if she's married? Who knows if he's married? Who knows? The point of the matter is she had sex with a guy in the back of a car. Really?
We think the back. We don't know. Allegedly.
And he didn't share with her that he had HPV.
Well, that's a problem. That's a moral and ethical problem.
Because if he shared with it,
suable.
He wouldn't have got laid.
It's typical, right? Typical man. But what I'm saying is this is like Geico lost this lawsuit. Like, who's their lawyers?
Look out if this goes through. Just look out.
Sexually transmitted diseases in the back of a car and suing the. I mean, she saved more than 15% by switching to Geico. That's for sure.
I was just gonna say that.
I mean, what would the Gecko have to say about this?
Boy, even I don't know if a caveman can figure this out. But the Eighth Circuit Court is
what state?
Bronner appealed to the Eighth Circuit Court to have the district's court overruled. So he did lose. Okay, so now he's asking for the Eighth Circuit Court to help him out here and get it. Now, look, if the guy's a pig and he did have disease,
no.
Tell the woman,
yeah, dude.
Look, but should the auto insurance cover it? Because folks, let's just keep this in mind. We are going to have to pay. Okay, because when you always hear these lawsuits, whenever I'm not suing you, I'm suing the insurance company.
Yeah.
And what happens to my
What do you
policy?
think happens then?
Yeah, I have to pay higher premiums, right?
Exactly.
And
what happens then?
Sue him.
Yeah.
I know you can't get as much money from him as you could. $1 million? I don't know what this Haplona virus is. I've heard of it, but I don't know what it is.
Too. I don't know what it does to you, but I'm just saying.
No, okay, here we are. Yeah. The couple contend that the language of Bronner's insurance policy is so broad as to justify Mo's bodily injury claim stemming from her HPV infection and subsequent development of brain cancer.
What does that cause brain cancer? HPV?
I don't know if it does or not. I have no idea. The whole point of the matter is not car insurance.
No.
Just because you had sex in a car.
People don't give people STDs. Cars give people STDs.
Do you know how many pulled muscles I had in high school?
Never even thought. Never even thought to go back to it.
I could have sued the car at the auto.
I know. Bunch of bull crap. I want my money.
Oh, my God.
Oh, Jim, that's insane. One last thing here I want to talk about, if you don't mind. Squad member Cori Bush out of the great state of Missouri. The next Jesus. Let's just be the next
or
Jesus.
Saint, at least.
At least Saint. But it's looking more Jesus-y.
Mm-hmm.
Stories about Missouri Democrat rep Cori Bush miraculously healing a woman with tumors and causing a sick toddler to walk have resurfaced. See, I hadn't heard this before. When was it surfaced? But here,
maybe she's going to be the Democrat.
Oh boy, that's what I'm saying. In her 2022 autobiography, The Forerunner, A Story of Pain and Perseverance in America, Bush wrote about her time working as a faith healer. During that time, the New York Post first reported she claimed that she had an almost supernatural ability within her to heal others. One instance included helping a disabled toddler to walk. Quote, the child had a bleed in her brain shortly after she was born and so couldn't walk. She had never taken a step in her life. Bush wrote, I carried the child from the prayer room in the back of the church out into the sanctuary. Walk, I said gently to the 3-year-old girl. You will walk. And this girl took her first step, then another and another. She walked. Boom, Dominic, get on the buzz. I'm on the buzz. What is?
I mean, how much illegal campaign money has she done? So I don't think she's a great.
This is what she chose to do with her life. I can heal people around the world. I could make the hungry eat. I can make those who walk can't. Those who can't see will see. Those who can't hear will hear. Yeah, I'm running for Congress.
You know what I'm thinking?
What?
I'm thinking she's expecting to lose, so she wants to be a pastor to megachurch next.
Oh, I think
That's
so.
what I think she's shooting for.
Listen to this one. One woman whom we met had several visible tumors on her torso. Mm-hmm. It was probably due to having sex in a car. But anyways, she was due to have surgery, but lacked health insurance and living in the park. One of the tumors was particularly painful to her. I laid hands on her and prayed, and I felt my hand was no longer touching a tumor. It shrank along with the others on her body, Bush recounted. Now, for those of you out there that truly believe there are healers and there are people that are doing this kind of work out there and miracles can happen. I'm not saying they can't. I am not one of those people that say, I'm a guy who believes there's life outside of humans around the universe, so who am I to say, right? She ain't doing it. That ain't her.
Yeah.
This is God, not the healer.
If God and Jesus were going to put the healing faith in somebody's hands,
it's not her.
I doubt it's Cori Bush. Mother Teresa, Cori Bush. Yeah, you're looking about the same here. Yeah,
we're right. It's not her.
No,
this crap didn't happen to her. So, she
and
is
why
a
are we just hearing about it in a book?
Bitter human being, huh?
Why are we just hearing about it in a book? You would have thought
that's what I'm saying.
People, she would have been. Yeah, no,
she would have been. That's right. This is insane. So, anyways, folks, that's kind of what we have going on today. We have an interview this week. That'll be on Thursday's show. We'll tell you all about that. You'll see that coming up. But for now, just before we leave, Trump camp responds after Biden's team targets convicted felon with massive ad buy. So that's the thing.
They got the
felon. Yeah, it was like 50 million or something, wasn't
it? They invested.
That's what he took in. He took twice what he took in.
Yeah. So basically, the A-list event he was at.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's just, I thought that was just, of course, they're going to start doing that. Yeah.
Did you see that George Strait set a record?
Yeah, I saw that. I knew it was going to come up. I figured you were going to say that George Strait set a record for what? The most concert goer? What was the record exactly?
Taylor who?
George Strait. Huh?
Taylor who? Yeah.
Listen, if I got my George is George Strait.
105,000.
105,000 showed up where? Where was this at?
George Strait.
Where was
Kyle
it at?
Stadium. I'm assuming Texas or somewhere down there.
Was it AT&T? Was it an indoor? Was it the end?
Yeah.
What?
Well, no, it was an outdoor. If you
it was outdoor.
What it was, yeah.
So okay. Yeah. Wow.
So, folks,
$500 a pop.
If you ever want to feel, if you're feeling down, put on George Strait. They'll cheer you up.
Folks, thanks for joining us today. I really appreciate it. Remember to like, follow,
I thought of
and
you
share.
when I saw that article.
I know. As soon as I saw it on Fox News, I'm like, I'm not telling that story. I ain't doing it. And George Strait is an amazing artist. That's it's only because it's Jim's favorite artist.
It's my favorite. And there's not even a close second.
Hall & Oates is close for you. Hall & Oates.
Actually, probably Dokken would be in front of Hall & Oates.
See, Dokken. So I'm okay. We agree on something.
But no, George Strait is he's
and then followed by like Belle Biv DeVoe or something like that. Who are those
New
people?
Edition. New Edition.
we got to do that again. For those of you guys that listen, go back to show 1.
My top 5. Dale made fun of me.
Why wouldn't I?
A guy who had Rush in his top 5.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, really.
You're comparing them to the New Edition. That's what's funny to me.
No, I'm not even comparing because there's no comparison.
Yeah, you're right. There is no comparison.
Did anybody from Rush kill Whitney Houston? No. I'm sorry. Is that too soon? Is it?
You win.
Bobby Brown didn't technically kill him.
You win. Bobby Brown contributed, I would say. Jim, follow, and share on Rumble, will you all? We appreciate it. Will be back.
This show took a turn. Sorry.
It took a turn, just a dark turn at the end there. Hear us on Apple, Spotify. Where else can people hear us? Everywhere, Jim, right?
Anywhere you listen to your podcast. Rumble.
Watch
us on Rumble, though.
Now, why not just watch
YouTube, right? We're still on YouTube.
No. Well, yes. The Judges episode, a failure to upload. We're having an issue. Never could upload it. Here we go, folks. We are within months of the election. So just stick to Rumble, people. It's easy. Download Rumble. It's free. It's a free app. All you do is you hit like, follow, and share on there. Let us know. You can comment on our videos. Come to our Facebook page. 2 Guys, 1 Coup. Number 2 Guys, number 1 Coup. Come to the Facebook page. Interact there. We welcome one and all. But more importantly, just that like, follow, and share on Rumble. Really, really helpful to us, and it notifies you when new episodes come up. That's it. Just a little pop-up says, hey, new episode of Two Guys, One Coup. And then it goes away. There's no big deal. Nothing you have to do. So, right, Jim?
And she's going to leave you with a smile.
She? Huh?
Yeah. It's a George Strait song.
I don't know what you're talking about, folks. Thank you. Jim,
Ocean
as always,
property
my pleasure.
In Arizona.
Goodbye. I don't know what you're talking
From
about. See you later, folks.
Porch, you can see.
And we are out.
You've been listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast with Dale and Jim. Remember, you can watch on YouTube and Rumble and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, or anywhere you listen to podcasts. And if you like what you hear, go ahead and give us a 5-star review. We really appreciate it, and it helps others find us when searching for podcasts. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and TikTok. Just search for Two Guys, One Coup. That's the number 2, guys, and the number 1, coup, C-O-U-P. Thanks again for listening to the Two Guys, One Coup podcast, and God bless the United States of America.